However, this one is not one of those that you will need to know. So you will again have to know from this A all the way up to C, and that is now the case for the treble clef. Guys, this is just something that you now have to learn. You have to memorize, and you have to understand backwards in the alphabet, going lower on my stave, the pitches lower, and that is how I write those notes. How will I ask them? Because, I mean, there is now an A there, and an A there, and an A there. We will then say, for example, write A below the staff, A in a space, and A above the staff. So we're using the treble clef here. And this A in a space, you should know very well by now. It is where we use face, F, A, C, E. So that's where the A is, F, A, C, E. And it's very easy. You've been able to do this very well. Let's go to this one. Well, the last note you learned in term 1 was, when we started out, is we learned about every good boy deserves fruit. So you know that that is an E. And you can kind of lightly draw it there for yourself as an E. Now, I must go from an E all the way to an A. I also sometimes struggle with the alphabet in reverse. So, no need to panic. You can do it on the page on which you're answering, or you just take another little scrap page, like this one I have. And I'll just write out my alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Remember, it's not my normal alphabet, it's my music one. So I have to repeat. So, now I know I was standing here on E, but I'm asked to write A. So, E was on the last line. Before E, I now have D. So D will become just below the line. Okay, and then there will be a C. Now I know I can't just go below the line. I will have to add my first letter. But the note I'm asked is even lower. So I have to go one back. So I have to go to B. So it will be below the letter. But guess what? I'm asked to go even one lower. So now I know I will need to use 2 letter lines. So 1, 2. And that is my note A. As I've done it here, A, but now I've worked it out. So you can also just check yourself by going in reverse. On the second line is A. Going one up will be between the 2, B. On that one will be C. One sticking on right there, one higher there will be D, and then E. So let's see what's going to happen here when it is A above the staff. Remember, we learned all the way up to F, so you know that that's F. I'm now going higher, so I can just simply use my alphabet the whole way, the normal way. I know that that was F, after F is G, and that is the note that sat on top there. But if I want to go a little bit higher up to A, now I need to have an extra little spoke. And we don't call it that, we call it a letter line. So you will basically have to, either you will be given what I've written down here, and you then have to write down the note, Alternatively, as you know it works, you will be asked, write A below the staff, and you will have to write it down the way that I've just shown it to you. Now, the only thing that you need now after this is just more and more practice. That is the only way to really get this done until it becomes second nature. The same process is what we follow in the bass clef. Let's rethink about the bass clef. Let's start somewhere here. Depending on your teacher, you may have learned something like great big dogs fight angrily or fight a lot. Okay, and then you were taught the ones in between. And you were basically taught all cows eat grass. So let's check, is my alphabet right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Yes. But as you can see, very few notes again, and we want to extend our keyboard. So, alphabetically going up, A, B, C, D. Let's see where we end up. So, I can now put one on top here. For B, I'm going higher. Wasn't that line? Going one higher. I'm sitting above it. But I want to go one more. I want to go one note higher. And there's just nothing. I was on top of it, but how do I go or higher? Well, my notes can't fall off. I need to have that ledger line. Now, what if I even want to go higher than that? Well, I still use that little line, but I stand on top of it. So going up, it is A to B. Now I have to start adding a ledger line, C, even higher, D. Well, what if I want to go even higher? I have to have two ledger lines. And what if I want to go higher than that? Well, not a problem. Already have two ledger lines. So instead of standing on top of that one, I go even higher. And I stand above it. Okay. Now, remember you will be doing all of this and all of this up here. I had to do it in pen so that it's clear for you to see, but you will be doing it in pencil. So if you make a wonky note or your lines are not the correct distance apart, you will erase and make them properly. Now we still have the same problem that we had earlier. What if I want to go even lower than this? Like a nice low bass notes. Now it's me and my reverse alphabet again. G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. So let's see, I am on G. I want to go one lower, it will be F. One lower than that will be E. Even one further down, D. Let's see how it looks before we carry on. Obviously, I can now come in below my staff. There I was on the staff still. Now I'm going one below. If I want to go even lower than that, I need to have a little extra spoke. A little ledger line. So I'm on the ledger line. And, oops, my Koki pen writing is in the way. I'm going to just go here. As you see, it would have been great if I now had I'll have to do it here. I'm so sorry, guys. It's because I don't use my pencil. Now you see why a pencil is so important. So let's just do it here. I was there for F. I can now use the same ledger line to go lower. That'll be my E. And if I stand even below that one, it will be F, E, D. And what if I want to go lower than that? That is obviously also possible. But now, one line is not enough. I will have to add that line and another one. What becomes 4D? C is before D, so that note is C. Now, another note that is very special, it's exactly the same note as the special note that we had up here. This note is middle C. Sounds weird, how is it on that side? We've learned this, I've explained this before, but just a quick recap. Again, if I go to the piano, this time I'm going to use my left hand to play, and I'm going to go up to about the middle of the piano. The C I find there will be a special C, we abbreviate it with an MC, but it is middle C, referring to the fact that it's in the middle of the piano. And as I said with the treble clef, when you have to write all these extra notes in the bass clef, it's also just a matter of practicing. You will see this is done quite untidily. I want to keep the video as short as possible, but if I was doing this for a test, for example, I would be writing, I will say, okay, that's E, and that is, okay, there are my two ones, and I would kind of carefully erase so that they're the same size, and I will make my note there so that I do it properly. Once you've done it in pen, you are stuck. And if I now want to go and try and take some Tipp-Ex and correct it, then the Tipp-Ex covers the lines that are there already, and it really becomes a mess. So I want you now to go back in your books to the pages I referred to. And it tells us about the ledger lines. It first just shows us how to add one ledger line. And then if you carry on, you will see that it gives you advice on writing using two ledger lines. 2 lines below and 2 lines above. And the same for the bass clef. So that is what you will be required to do. You will see on page 17 it even gives you more notes than that. But I promise you I will not ask you that in a test or an exam. However, it will be part of this exercise. So for now, I want you to actually include those as well. Okay guys, I will link 1 or 2 other videos here to help you. Please remember that we need to work tidily. It's very important for a musician to be able to see what note is written down, and that is why we have to be accurate, and that's why this would be very horrible for a person to play.